Good day, everyone, and welcome to today's tool talk on revolutionizing the Die Mould industry with cutting-edge technologies. I'm Nishant Kashyap, editor of TAGMA Times magazine, and your host for today's tool talk session. And this tool talk is a very interesting one because this is the first time when we are having a speaker from the technology background. Till now, we have had speakers from the user industry who came and spoke about their expectation, their requirement, and the opportunities for the tool makers in their respective industries. But this time, we are having other side speakers from the other side of the ecosystem, the technology provider, the tech vendors for the tool makers. And for that, we have partnered with Uchimu, which is Italian machine tool robot automation system and ancillary product manufacturers association. And icing on the cake is that we have two speakers today, Miss Veronica just from MILLUTENSIL and Mr. Dario Compagni from Breton. And on behalf of TAGMA management and tooling fraternity, I welcome you both.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for invitation.
Thanks for joining in. So before we start the session, I'll just give a brief introduction of both the speakers. So starting with Miss Veronica, Miss Veronica is Vice President at MILLUTENSIL s.r.l, board member at Uchimu, and mom of 4 children. She is responsible for the sales and the technological development of equipment for coil lines and presses in Italy and abroad, and she represents the blue line in Europe, India, and Mexico, where she has the concrete possibility to check the application of different technological solutions in several modern plants. MILLUTENSIL is also one of the company at ITC, which is Italian Technology Center based out of Pune, representing many Italian technologies in India. Welcome, Ms. Veronica.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to everybody. Thank you.
Thanks. And our second speaker is Mr. Dario Compagni. He is working as a sales director for USA and APAC market for the Breton SPA. He is an experienced area sales management with a demonstrated history of working in a mechanical and industrial engineering industry. Breton is also a big name in the machining and 3D printing industry. So welcome, Mr. Dario.
Thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate the presentation.
Right. So to the attendees, after our conversation, we will take questions from the audience. So in the meantime, please, if you have any question, you can post it in the chat box. Thank you so much. Thanks. So let's start today's session with knowing more about both of your companies. So starting with Veronica, please, if you can briefly explain about your company and the product solution that specifically is used in the die mold industry.
Okay, at first, good afternoon to everybody, ladies and gentlemen, and all the TAGMA members. I am proud to be here today and to have the possibility to have this interview and present our company, but not only speak about the technology of the mold in Europe and the trends all over the world. Our company was founded in 70 years ago, and we have 70 years of experience, and our company has been able to consolidate its presence in Italy and penetrating in all the international markets with 3 line of products. The die mold spotting presses, the machine for sheet metal working, and the third line that are the conveyors. The blue line that represent our spotting press is our iconic production lines and offers a wide range of presses that are machine used to adjust and validate molds, die splitter, and tool movers.
Right. Thank you so much. Mr. Dario, if you could explain or inform us about your product and solutions.
Yes, first of all, thank you very much for organizing this interview. and good afternoon to everyone. Breton is a worldwide leader in machine tools business, not only, also related to engineering stone and stone machinery. In any case, I would like to focus to our department, so it's related to the mold and die sectors, since we are talking about this business today. Breton is a worldwide leader, has been born 1963 and is, let's say, the state of art of the 5-axis milling and turning machine, high-speed vertical milling machine. So we can talk about gantry style or also, let's say, monoblock type. In any case, the way that Breton is trying to approach the market of the mold and die industry is not only related to the engineering business, but also approaching on the technical and also the let's say, the innovation connected to the product. So we will talk later on about this. So our company is at the state of art of this type of solution in the market worldwide.
Thank you. Thank you so much to both of you for informing us about your company. Mr. Dario, you deal with CNC machining center and some production, 3D printing machines also you have, which is like a core of a mold making activities. So in your opinion, what are the latest development in the machining technologies for the tool and die makers?
That's a nice question. I will say that this is the future. I will say that for sure we have more than 30 years of experience doing milling machine. But right now things are moving fast and changing a little bit. So machining that is a subtractive technology is going to be a little bit move forward to additive technology. So that's why Breton has developed in the last 3-4 years a new range of machine that is not only subtractive, so milling and turning and doing, let's say, subtractive technology, but also connected to additive. So we have developed in this sector, and this is quite something very important for the mold makers, is the 3D printer. I want to underline a point that while we are talking about 3D printer, we are not talking about the small one, let's make the cube one. We are talking a huge machine. So a huge machine that can be able to print something that can be in the range of a cockpit of a car or a mold for a car. So we are talking about a large scale 3D printing machine that we have in our facility, also to be shown to further clients. This is very important for us, but also there are other technologies that are connected to the milling and the additive, like, I don't know, VCS, permachine, performance on dynamics, orthogonal heads. So really the innovation connected to the solution that are related to the, let's say, market of the mold and dies are connected with the innovation. So the spirit that Breton is applying to this solution is every year to focus on the real needs of the markets of the mold and die in particular. Let's talk, for example, very briefly about an orthogonal head that few years ago was not there. So we were working only with let's say, the fork heads. Now with orthogonal heads, with a nice pivot, we can go more deep in pockets. We can go in some angles of the molds that we are working on steel or aluminum that before was not possible. That's very important. So, and I will add, last but not least, saying that we are an application on the software on the machine that is the artificial intelligence that help the machine to work better, not only connected to the operator type of work, but also in general, also with the planning of different mold and die molds or partners that they want to produce.
Great. Okay. So my next question to Ms. Veronica is, so you deal with you have like range of products for the tool and die makers, for example, die mold spotting presses, die splitters, and some other machineries. How do you see these technologies continue to evolve and impact the die mold industry in future?
Nowadays, the three main issues on which manufacturing companies are called to take action are, at first, for sure, the reduction of production time. Second, for sure, the cost. And another important aspect is the environment and sustainability. I think that our spotting press are very important in the process because they allow the simulation of the production condition in order to prevent quality problems and production stops. It's very important. The process of the molds in the last years become really helped from a lot of machining and technology, but also the mold in the last year become more complex. And it's very important to have the possibility to try the machine, to try the molds in the last step in order to assure the quality. Therefore, our machine can help to a reduction of the production time and, of course, also of a reduction of the cost. And as regards the environment and sustainability, we have work in our products and in our technology in order to realize energy efficient machines and also to have a very important integration of smart processes in the adjusting operation.
Okay, okay. Thanks. And also, you have a great experience working in the Indian market. You have been traveling to India, dealing with a lot of tool and die makers since many years. So, based on your experience, what are your views about the Indian tooling industry? What do you think where the industry is heading to?
At first, I would like to tell you that we believe in the Indian market and we believe in the Indian tool maker.
Right.
The Indian tooling industry is currently recording a great surge in demand, in particular concerning the automotive sector. And also the measure taken by the government to encourage global manufacturers to invest in India have really contributed to give a significant boost to the manufacturing industry. As regards the company in India, what I can tell you is that what I saw is that many times the company are really there are big company, there are big company, but there are also smaller company, family-run business company. And I think that there are great opportunities for the Indian tool and mold makers. And also I see that for them it's also very important to develop on specific technologies and skills. And also for me, it's important to, owing to the dimension of some companies, to have a good cooperation between the different companies in order to, for example, be able to run and to manage projects of larger dimensions.
Okay. Thanks. To Mr. Dario, maybe if you could just answer what I asked Miss Veronica. As a Italian working in a machine tool industry and selling machines to the die mold and various other sectors, what are your opinion on the Indian die mold industry?
For sure, what Veronica said is correct, and I could agree. I would like also to add that due to our, let's say, personal, let's say, behavior and experience in the country, we have been seeing that in the last few years, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, India grew a lot. Really, in particular in automotive, plastic, electronics, and others. So we got really booming in request, and and in necessity coming from the client from India. So we improve a lot also our presence over there. On the other hand, we could say that since also the government is trying to push the made in India, that is something that of course will help the technology and the market to grow up. Still there are needs of being partner, as Veronica said, with Italian company. And we say, since we are Italian, but also from other countries, I'm not, let's say, against the competition, but we need to be really close to the technology know-how that we can apport on this. In particular, if we are talking about 5-axis machine, still in India is needed, and then not only related to the product itself, but also on the technology that we can apport. So I'm sure the technology on the molded die will improve a lot, both on the innovation of the type of machine that we can provide, since 5-axis milling, high quality one, is not present there, and on the other hand also on the 3D printing section that is taking place, in particular in molded die, also in aerospace sector.
I confirm
Right.
this. I would like to add something that it's really the true. In the last years, there have been very big changes in the mold industry. I noticed that the approach of the mold makers change. I am traveling to India about 20 years, and I can tell you that in the last 5-6 years there was a big difference way of investing. Also, the company are investing in a good machine, are taking care of the quality of the machine, and this is very important. And they are taking care about all the process and putting in more and more technology features in their company. And this is an approach that changed really in the last 4 or 5 years. And we noticed this in many Indian companies.
That's great to know that since last 4 or 5 years, you see that the companies are investing in right technologies and heavy technologies. Right. So, in your opinion, since both of you, this question is to both of you, is in your opinion, what tool makers are looking for? Because if they are buying any technology, they are upgrading their infrastructure, what kind of things they are looking from the technology providers? Starting with you, Veronica.
For sure, the concept of buying technology is changed a lot because the Industry 4.0 and the digital transformation changed the concept of process.
Right.
It's very important that, for a mold maker to consider all the process and analyzing the complete process from the start, from the project to the machining. Also, for them, for the process is important the technology, it's important the project, is important the machine, are also important the tools. It's the last phase of the process with the validation, but it's also very important the feedback from the customer. In fact, in the last years, what I can tell is that the mold makers are also focused to analyze all the process. In fact, also on the molds, many times the mold makers install sensors. This sensor will be delivered with the mold, and the sensor really tell all the history of the molds, how many parts are produced, where this mold is producing, because sometimes you produce your mold in India, but they will leave India and produce in other countries. And therefore there is really a link of the process that is, of course, more digital and is linked on all the process from the start to the production. But not only, because then the molds in many times has to be adjusted, has to be repaired, and therefore there is a kind of history and a complete link of, I can say, of value of the mold that has to be taken into consideration. This
Right.
also for the further experience for further mold and in achievement of technology.
Got it. Got it. So Dario, you are saying something. Would you like to add to what Ms. Veronica just said?
Yes, I completely agree with Veronica, and then I would like to add something connected exactly on my sector, so the CNC machining manufacturer. So let's assume that if I'm going to make the same question to a tool makers in India or in another part of the world, they will say, I would like to have the maximum return with the minimum cost or the minimum investment. This is an easy word, let's say easy sentence to, let's say, summarize a concept. But I will say that to this guy, that while we are trying to focus on the technology, we need to focus, as Veronica said, in all 360 degrees of the process. So let's focus while we are going to suggest, to propose, to find solution, in particular technical solution and innovative solution, be able to focus on exactly what we could provide them in time. So what you are looking for, you are looking for a very robust, rigid machine that can perform better than what you have right now. So it will not be this, let's say, connected only to performance that you are doing now, but also the flexibility of a machine that can be used in different type of solution: finishing, super finishing, roughing, milling, doing holes, threaded. So see also the flexibility of the innovation of the machine. Connected to this fact also is very important once you are going to apply for this type of investment that is quite huge, to understand also who is your partner. Is your partner there locally? Is your partner be able to support you? Is your partner having a background,
Hello.
having experience of, let's say, tool makers? Yes, Breton is, other have this experience. So focus on this, let's say, point. Another point that sometimes is just forgot by the tool makers is the relation in between the manufacturer of the machine and the CAD/CAM supplier. Sometimes they are disconnected, so we need to be always matching each other and take into consideration all these points while we are trying to focus on quite a big investment. Last but not least, let me tell you that, frankly speaking, a machine like the machine that Breton is proposing have to work for 10, 15, 20 years without any problems. And we can provide this. But on the other hand, the investment should be divided in some years of investment. It's not a matter of being cheap at the beginning and then not looking that the machine will perform for several years.
So my next question to Dario. See, you have been dealing with tool makers around the world. You have been traveling to many countries and engaging with tool makers around the world. So what kind of fundamental differences you see when dealing with Indian tool makers versus the overseas tool makers, especially the developed market like Europe and Japan, USA also?
Yes, I will say that, frankly speaking, every country has their peculiarity and their, let's say, way of approach. I will say that India is not so far away from other countries like USA or other countries like, let's say, neighbors countries. But for sure, I can focus on the specification. So sometimes, and this is valid in particular for the public sector, less for the private sector. We are always, let's say, focusing on, let's say, specification that maybe are a little bit old or obsolete, because technology is improving and innovation is moving fast, more than fast than producing or making catalogs and be able for clients to be updated on this. So my, let's say, point is that since Indians are really focusing on technical parts, and that is very important to focus on the needs of the product that they want to purchase or they want to have as a solution for their needs. We need also to be concrete. So sometimes it's better to see exactly which is the problems connected to the parts that they want to work, instead of, let's say, focusing too much on comma and point in a documents that we are dealing to. So less people that are discussing and more people that go inside the workshop, going into details and check exactly what could be the solution that we can propose.
Okay, okay. And how do you rate the skill set of Indian engineers working in these industries?
From 1 to 10.
You can give me. Yeah, yeah.
But I will say more than 8.
Oh, okay, great.
People, I will say maybe this is something that is not related to the tool makers, but is related to the industry. I'm dealing also with aerospace company in India, in Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, Delhi, Kanpur, or others. And really frankly speaking, I'm finding more Indian technical people, let's say, able to discuss at the same level we can discuss than in other countries. Even USA, sometimes I find people that, you know, they are looking at this, they are not, let's say, thinking outside of the box. So I really have a very tough and sincere relation technically with Indians people from the technical point of view.
Okay, okay. And Miss Veronica, same question to you about your experience working with the Indian tool makers versus the overseas tool makers, especially from European.
Yes, in order to answer to your question, I think that it could be interesting to focus more in which are the trends now in the mold industry.
Right.
At first, in the last years, the concept of mold changed a lot all around the world, because I think that with the Tesla concept, the concept introduced by Tesla, the mold tendency is to build larger and larger molds. And not only larger, but the mold become and are more complicated. There are in the molds there are multifunctional integrated, and therefore the molds are more complex. Of course, the machines are also more precise in the process, but it's also true that the function in the mold are more complicated. Then we have also to speak about the impact of the new material in the mold industry, because at the moment all the world is speaking about ESG, environment, social governance. Everybody is speaking about carbon zero, about environment, about green, and therefore the mold of the future and the technology of the future has for sure to think about the use of other materials. The material of the future will be material realized with recyclable material, natural material, and this means a new preparation. This means a new technology, because every mold makers know how difficult it is to build mold and build mold with different materials. All the technology, all the parts, all the cooling system, all the reaction of the mold, and also the final adjusting, all the process has to be different concepted. Then what I noticed is that there is a digitalization in the mold. As I told before, the molds will be more digital because all the process has to be taken into consideration, starting from the mold makers to the production. Then there is another feature that is that all the materials in the future has to be recyclable, and it means that also I heard Stellantis, I heard for Via speaking, and they are looking for molds that have to be with all the materials with 100% recyclable. It means that they look for the future, also to the possibility to have molds with inserts and have the possibility to rechange the insert parts with one production to another one. And there are many aspects that are changing the way of making molds all around the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
May I say something with Veronica? Because the type of material and the way of using the material in a recycled way is completely something that is a key point for the next future. So just to our people here understand much more better, we need to move from this solution, okay, to this solution that is completely recyclable. You see, this is a concrete, okay, a concrete relation in between what is now and what will be in the future.
Nice. So we have an actual demonstration here today. Thank you so much for that. So to the Mr. Dario, what considerations should die mill and mold makers keep in mind when deciding whether to invest in particular CNC machines for their operations? How should they go ahead and select any specific machines or technologies for their operation?
First of all, I will say that they need to focus on flexibility. I need also to confirm that sometimes when they need to focus on the specific use of this machine, as also Veronica said, we need to think about 360 degrees of the process. You are not buying a machine to make this part only. You are going to make a machine to buy this machine to make this today, but tomorrow the machine will be flexible enough to be able to work with other type of solution. So the flexibility of the solution that you are going to acquire in your workshop is really something that need to be focused with. The second point that I would like to underline to the committee here is the long-lasting terms of use of the machine. So do not think that a cheap product or a product that can work for 2, 3, 4 years is nice because maybe cost less than others. Think in the long last terms because the machine has to work 10, 15 years without any problems. And third, please refer to the experience. When we are delivering, and that's why we are talking today together. We are talking today because we are bringing to you, to these people, the experience, the know-how. So while we are selling a machine, we need to add service, technology, experience, software that is connected to the machine. We are not buying a machine. We are buying an ecosystem that can give and should give to the worker and then to operator the possibility to be able to, let's say, use it for years in a better way and in a full way, because 5-axis is not a CNC machine. It's not easy matter. Sometimes I'm seeing people that are buying our machine that are using 30-40% only of their capability, unfortunately.
Okay, Okay, that's great. So just a couple of questions from my side before we move on to the audience questions to the both of you basically. Again, with your experience only, what are the kind of challenges you are facing in Indian market while selling your machines? And what exactly you want tool makers to keep in mind while deciding the machines, or how they should go ahead and deal with technology providers?
Uh, okay. As regards spotting press, what I can tell you is the spotting press is the last machine of the process. And but if the mold is not working and the quality of the mold is not good, you discover it always at the last step. And it's in India, there is an improving of the technology, and it's very important that the new technology for the future, as is saying Mr. Compagni, has to take a very high attention on the future investment about quality. But if all the machine of the process are not super performance, it happens that in the last step of the validation of the molds, the mold has different problem. And if the quality is not achieved, and we all know how much and how much high are the inquiry of the, for example, of the automotive sectors. If the quality is not achieved, the mold will be not able to produce, or will be not able to produce in the quality, all the cycle that are requested from the automotive industry. As I see, in my opinion, our spotting press guarantee the possibility to check the adjusting operation, the opening, the closing, the cycle of the machine. We have implemented some function. We have also implemented with Industry 4.0 different features to check the adjusting operation, to have information report of this process. This process has not to be considered as a manual process. It's not how many people I put to adjust the mold with blue color of brush, but the concept is different. The adjusting operation and the final operation of the mold make the difference. Because if the machine on the different machine, ADM, milling machine, CNC machine, all the machines are also very good, but the complexity is higher. You need adjustment, okay? But if the machines are not so good, or not all the machine, it's like an orchestra. You put a lot of people that is playing music, but the orchestra has to be synchronized. And the final result is the music. At the end, if the machine are not synchronized and you have a leakage of technology in your machine, in the adjusting operation, you will for sure have difficulties. And if people invest, the company invest in a tryout machine, they have to invest in a quality machine. Otherwise, their trial, their adjusting is not a quality trials, and therefore they don't achieve the quality. We have studied our machine. We are invest in technology. The technology of our spotting press is very high. We have now make giga press, very large press for testing also giga molds. But we have very good solution also for small machine, for medium-sized machine. And sometimes it's very difficult also in India with crane, with everything. And this can be a very good support for the users.
Right. So you gave a very good analogy of orchestra as well. That's very nice. Dario, would you like to add something?
Yeah, but I completely agree with Veronica about this point. Really, I will also add that the last machine of the line cannot solve the problems of the that created by the others. So sometimes at the end of the process, someone is just asking to the last machine to solve all the problems that has been created. So I'm really with Ron about this point. And then I would like just to underline 2 points mainly. That is for sure quality machine, and quality machine means a little bit more expensive. I will not say expensive. I will be saying little bit expensive. Right price for the right service and quality of machine that you are going to receive, because they will be back to you with the proper use of the machine. Third, this is a kind of point that I would like to stress a little bit about our delegation here. That is the skilled manpower. So technology can help. We can improve the machine, we can help whatever, but if I'm going to make a comparison between the technical people I'm finding while I'm going to the supply chain department, I will have very few people on the operation, so on the workshop working on the machine. So I'm asking them, please have the right operators on the machine, because you know you are buying a nice machine, very costly, very precise, very high quality, and then you have maybe an operator that cannot work properly, or maybe he's afraid to work because you know we have this investment on this machine and then the operator. So there are technology. I'm Breton, but we can say that, for example, Siemens has developed this numeric one with the digital twin, and the digital twin is a virtual machine that can help the operator without making any mistakes. So the skilled manpower to operate the high-speed machine is one of the critical points right now in the country, and I really ask to improve this. On the other hand, on the technical side, on the supply chain, everybody knows even more than me sometimes.
Yes,
Right.
I think that Mr. Dario say a very important things. That he say that a machine that costs more, a machine is not a quality machine doesn't cost more, because it's an investment and there is payback. You think that a machine costs more, but when you buy a machine and you put your machine in your house, and how also Dario say, in all the process there are difficulties, the quality is not good, at the end it doesn't cost more less, it costs more. And your quality, that is what you have to achieve if all the machines and all the technology that you have to insert in your company, if there are investment. Of course, it can be that they cost more, but are investment.
Right.
And as regards the theme that Dario Compagni is speaking about, the skills of the people, what I can tell you and what I think about India, that the people has many people that I met in India. I can tell you that I was always positive. I had a positive feeling, because people has passion, has dedications. Many times they are very competent. They are all engineers. They study a lot. But sometimes, as also Mr. Compagni say, the challenge to really prepare the new generation, the challenge to prepare the skilled people in order to use technology, transformation, digitalization, and also machine, because sometimes really the process, like he's telling, the digital twins are technology that are used daily, but they need prepared people.
Okay. Thanks. So last question from my side. I'll need a very brief point-by-point answers from both of you is, what are your specific 4-5 suggestions to the Indian tool makers? Starting with you, Dario.
That's a nice question. I will be very straight.
Yeah.
It's the rule. My rule is the 3B, like Bangalore. 3B. Buy Italian, buy Breton, be brave. So the point is buy Italian because we are Italian. We are really flexible. We are people that are really focusing as a partner with someone that is buying our machine. We are not German. Okay, we are Breton. Breton is the state of art of the 5-axis machine. So you have a very top type of machine that we can give you. We are not complaining. We are not compromising. We are doing really nice work always. And third, be brave. So try to think a little bit outside of the box. Be brave. Try to think in a different way sometimes also. Sorry.
Great. Veronica, to you.
At first, I have to say technology. The second word has to be the process. Then the people. The people is very important. The people make the difference in all the company. Then the other word is good machine, quality, and I cannot finish with the word MILLUTENSIL because, of course, take care and in your process when you will adjust your mold during the day, during your process, don't forget MILLUTENSIL when you adjust your mold.
Great. So thank you so much. Thanks. That's it from my side. Let's take some questions from the audience. So first question we have from Mr. Gopala Krishnan to Dario. He's asking how rugged are the European machines, especially Italian, in that in India there are wide range of climate varieties. In India, mainly hot atmosphere, especially in the summer going up to 45 degrees. So how do you deal with that? How rugged your machines are, or any Italian or European machines for that matter?
Yeah, I can confirm you that I don't know about the European machine, but I'm sure I know what we are doing. So we have a symmetric structure. Again, a symmetric structure when you are working with the FEM system of providing rigidity in between bridge and let's say ram and shoulder allow you to keep a little bit constant temperature inside. This is one. Second, if we want to have a capability of the machine to maintain, because it's not a kind of we need to control the temperature, we need to maintain the temperature constantly while we are working inside the machine. First of all, we need to have the machine closed. So while we are offering the machine, roof bellow should be there. We use it as an optional, but should be there in order to close the chamber. Once it's done this, we have a patent solution that is thermal shield. Thermal shield is a kind of coats that we put on the structure, on the machine, and then the machine is keeping the temperature of the structure of the machine while the machine is working constant. So this allows us to be able to compensate this. We have other 2 points to be able to compensate this factor, that is, let's say, a VSC rotary, and then the software that we developed together with Siemens to compensate the variation in temperature while working. Last but not least, and this is not Breton, is not European manufacturer, my suggestion, very easy, is while you are thinking about your building, build a building able to have a room with a air conditioning system that can keep the place quite, let's say, constant. And this is not a big cost because this could be done locally very easily.
Right. So thanks for that. There is another question from Mr. Abhay. He says, as much as we all agree that the Indian tooling industry has grown in last few years, but what view do you have on the skill set of the tool maker? Is it in sync with the growth we are experiencing, or could it be better? So I think, Dario, you have answered it. So maybe I'll put it to the Veronica, if you could answer that question.
The specialized manpower, and the growing of the specialized manpower, it's an important theme not only for India. I think that it's for all the companies, for the new generation, and for the process. In the last years, there was many changement. And it's very important that the people will constantly prepare to the new technologies, and also all the projects that every time are made involves different efforts, involves different technologies, but many times nobody shares this information with all the team. Nobody time there is not a feedback with the customer about the results. Therefore, in every company and all the labor that are involved in the process have to be constantly prepared and re-prepared to the new challenge that we have to face. Challenge, technology, digitalization, and way of approaching the daily work with a view of constant improvement.
Okay, nice. Another question from Mr. Avinash. What major factors to be considered in right selection of cutting tools in terms of quality and machining time reduction? I guess this question is to Dario.
Yeah, but I do not have, I lost the medium part of the question.
Yeah,
Could you
so I think what major factors to be considered in right selection of cutting tools in terms of quality and machining time reduction? I think basically he's asking for how to select the right cutting tools.
Yeah, understand. Frankly speaking, I'm not a tools, let's say, producer, but I am a tools user in our facility and in our machine. I can suggest you that you need a person that can suggest you without thinking about money or application. So the point is we need to focus in particular on the application that you have to do. There are tools that cost a lot, okay, and tools that cost less. But it's not because a tool that costs a lot or is very hard that is right. Because sometimes that if you need a tool that is a diameter of 60, maybe you need a diameter of 40 or a diameter of 20. So really you have to focus on the application that you want to work. After that, once you have a free place, a free, let's say, person that can adjust the solution of the application on the molds that you need to work, the selection of the tools are quite good. For sure, quality material should be there. I will not buy something that, let's say, is done not in a proper way. So the level of the cutting tools should be always up. And then this should be kept also working in condition, because tools manufacturers are improving a lot. I will say monthly in their application, not by year.
Right. Just last question. Anyways, we are running out of time. This is again to Dario from Mr. Abhay. I've seen many tool makers be hesitant to adopt technology which ultimately limits India becoming an ultimate manufacturing hub. What are your thoughts on this?
Yes, that's true. That's true. I will say that it's not only in India, also in other countries, but in particular in India, this happens. And then my thought is that the limit of the Indian, let's say, I would say technology is related to the type of machine that they have at their disposal. So I think in the next years they need to improve and buy new machine to support this range and this trend, because for sure I'm definitely sure that the market tomorrow there will be more effective and more precise in all points.
Okay, I think we are through with the audience question as well. And thank you so much. Thank you for your technical knowledge and insights. It was truly informative, and I'm sure our attendees have got new perspective on the latest technological developments. And my special thanks to Uchimu representative Mr. Nilesh Joshi and coordinator Claudia for organizing this event. Thank you so much. Thanks to all the attendees for taking out your time and attending this session. I'm sure you must have learned something today. Thank you so much, Mr. Dario. Thank you so much, Veronica. Thank you so much for sharing the
Thank you.
informations. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Namaste. Thank you very much.
Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.